Okay, using the distance formula, you can determine the distance or the length of a segment. So here's the distance formula: x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. The x sub 2 represents the x component of the second point. The x sub 1 is the x value of the first point. Same for the y. y2 is the second point y minus y1 here. The biggest mistake students make is thinking this is x1, x2, and this is y2 and y1. You have to use the portions of each point. So let's find the distance from A to B. So the distance from A to B is going to be the square root of x2 is right here, and x1 is right here. So it's going to be the square root of 6 minus, because that minus sign, and we got the 2 here, and we're going to square it. Now let's do the next one. The y values, here's your y2, here's your y1, all right? And so we put a plus sign between here, and then we have negative 6, because that's y2 value, minus, because that's in the formula, and it's a negative 9. I put negative 9 in parentheses so you'll know what to do with it. So the distance from A to B, now I'm just doing the simple math. This was the geometry part to set it up in this equation. Now let's get our final answer. The square root of 4 squared plus square root of, I wrote it like this so you can see that this negative becomes a positive. So we have negative 6 plus 9. These are opposite signs, so we're just going to simply say 9 minus 6, which is 3. And we know it's going to be a positive 3 because the 9 is bigger than the 6. So we have the distance AB is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared. That comes out to be the square root of 16 plus 9, because 4 squared is 4 times 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3. 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. And 25 is a perfect square, which is 5 times 5. So the distance from A to the segment A to B is 5 units. And that's your answer. All right? And so that's what you'll do for number 2, number 3. Now, the next part of this is finding the slope, right? The slope formula is the change in y over the change in x. The biggest mistake is students put the x's on top and the y's on bottom. But you have to put the y's on top because it's the same as the rise over run. That's what this formula means, rise over run. So we have 2 points. Let's write down our values. X sub 1 is equal to 2. It's right here. Y sub 1 is equal to negative 9. That's from the A point. The B point, X sub 2 is equal to 6. Y sub 2 is equal to negative 6. I encourage students to write it out, so therefore when you're substituting, you'll use the right values. So my y values are here. That's what goes on the top. That's my rise. My x values are here for A point and then for B point. That goes at the bottom. That's my run. All right. So here we go. Of line AB is equal to a negative 6 minus a negative 9 divided by 6 minus 2. So the top is a negative 6 plus 9 over 6 minus 2 is 4. This is 3, so it'll be 3 over 4. So the slope is a positive 3/4. Therefore, it's rising. And that's the how you do problem number 4. All right. So I'm just talking about the current assignment. So if you want to find the midpoint, the formula for midpoint is it's a location, x1 plus x2 over 2. We take the 2 points, and y1 plus y2 over 2. So we have the a value is located at -2, -5. So that means x1 is equal to -2 and y1 is equal to -5. The b value is located at -6, 6. So that means x2 is equal to -6, y2 is equal to 6, because that's my second point. So that's what the subscript means. This is my first point, this is my second point. So the location of the midpoint is -2 plus -6. That's these values here. That's what goes at the top. And we got the x component. Whatever this is, we're going to divide it by 2. And then we're going to get the y's, which are these points. So we're going to take -5 plus 6. And we're going to divide that by 2. So the midpoint is a -8 over 2, comma 1 over 2. So the midpoint is located at a -4 and 1/2. And that's our answer. So the midpoint is located at -4 and 1/2 on the graph. So if you plot these 2 points, the middle of those 2 points will be located here at this location. And that's your answer. That's how you do that problem. And number 9 is a little challenge, but this is providing you an endpoint. So if I was to have a graph, the reason why I show students this with a graph so they understand what's being said. AB is a segment. One end of it is located at -3, -5. So this located one part. So -3, -5 is located here. So that's one endpoint. I'm going to call that A, and it's located at -3, -5. Then it says the midpoint is at 210. So 1, 2, and then we go up 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this point is 10. So 210 would be here. That's the midpoint. So I got point A, then I got the midpoint. And it says find the other endpoint. So if that's the midpoint, that means the other endpoint is going to be over here somewhere, right? So we know the other endpoint is that direction because we got segment AB. So this A to M is going to be equal distance, so whatever B is going to be located. So this is how you set it up. You use the midpoint formula, and you set it equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Right. Now you can pause and stop this video if I'm going too fast. That's why I create videos, right? And so the endpoint is my x1 and my y1. I don't know what my other endpoint, that's going to be my x2 and my y2. So I have everything except for I don't have this point, but I have everything else. So let's put everything in a space. The midpoint is located at 210, and that's equal to x1 is a -3 plus x2 over 2, And y1 is a negative 5 plus y2 over 2. From this point, you're going to make two equations to find x2 and xy2. So this is your x value of your midpoint. So it's going to be 2 is equal to a negative 3 plus x2 over 2. We're going to solve for this. It's a very simple equation to solve for. All we're going to do is this. Everybody's scared of the boogeyman. That's that 2 down there. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. So this is going to be 2 times 2 is equal to a negative 3 plus x of 2 over 2, all times 2. That's how I get rid of the boogeyman, by multiplying by that number. Okay, there it is. When I multiply this quantity by 2, those cancel. So I'm left with negative 3 plus x2 is equal to 4. And so what happens is I simply move the 3 over here. And I see that my x of 2 is located at 7. So this point over here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. I know it's at 7, and then we're going to find what the y value is. Okay. So 10 is equal to a negative 5 plus y2 over 2. So I just took the second component of this 10 and make it equal to that, so I can find the endpoint. So like we did, take care of this. That boogeyman is scaring everybody because it's a fraction. Multiply both sides by 2. So I got 20 is equal to negative 5 plus y2. Then I move the 5 over. So the y2 is located at 25. So my endpoint B is located at 725. That's my answer. And if I had to plot it, 7 is here, this is 10, so 25 will be way up here somewhere, and that's my B. So it looks like it would indeed be the other endpoint. All right? So that's that assignment. This is very important. You need to know how to do these kind of problems, so I can give you another one of those if you need me to. All right?